struck out.
Yeah, that one definitely going to not make an appearance here. I'm going to make a bold statement here.
Seems
there will not be a repeat Nocturne for either team.
One thing it does reinforce, though, is the fact that Team Dignitas is playing without fear of the repercussions. Some of their decisions in the game, too, of going for very early Barons have paid off. And much like bringing out new picks, if it works, you're praised, and if you lose, you get flamed. And they have not cared about the consequences.
Not only are you praised if you bring out a new pick and it works, but also the teams in the playoffs that you play next will have to take that into account and may opt to just ban it rather than playing against it. Yes, depending on how well it shows up in the game.
Or you stop your other jungle bans.
Ban.
You know, why bother banning Zach? He'll play Nocturne is just as good. Let's just let him get whatever he wants. Both those are, you know, possibilities at the end of the day. You're seeing the Elise ban come through for Team Dignitas. Adjusting to Game 2, these are actually pretty different pick bans. Tristana may still be available on this one. Dig have banned it all 3 games so far this series. We'll see if it gets off in this one.
Yeah, getting the Twitch out of there as a blue side ban, I think, is
Whoa.
a pretty interesting evolution in the series right here, because no one has been willing to first pick it, but it has almost always gone to the second rotation, and no Trist ban here.
Yep.
Gives that over to Sneaky.
Will we be seeing the Sivir, look into the Tristana? So for the easy spell shields, Altec has played a lot of the champion in his past, and it definitely does work well with those front lines.
Sivir Maokai tank composition.
Oh, baby. Add a Taric, it's invincible.
Yeah, they can build the skeleton for it right now with those picks. Sivir can work pretty well into Trist in the laning phase. They don't want any funny business happening in the second phase of bans this time.
Yep.
Realize the Maokai is pretty critical as far as their team playmaking goes, even if it has lost lane badly in both games.
Yep. Altec has put 3 games on a Sivir so far this split. Trist was most played, but Varus also on the table. And Sivir it will be. There's the picks. Question is what's going to go alongside it here. Of course, they're going to either match up mid laners or go somewhere else. Of course, Orianna has remained an unbanned champion. Last time around, Jensen went for Lucian with it and did well in his matchup against the Syndra. Contract's going to go for maybe an Ivern. Still waiting to pick, though. 6 seconds still ticking down.
Yeah, that would be a big maybe. The Gragas gives them a lot of flexibility. Jarvan, Elise, and Zach banned away, so pretty key that they get a jungler locked in here. Gragas, depending on who you talk to, could be considered the best jungler on the patch, so a lot of reasons to lock that in now.
Yeah, especially with Jarvan banned out, as we keep talking about trading those 2 in the power levels. But honestly, I'm wondering about the mid lane still, because that has been such a focus in the picks and bans, but not cropping up here in one of these game point matches for Team Dignitas.
Blind Lucian for it.
Usually before the second phase of the bans comes in, there we go. Jensen again will be on the Lucian. He had an outstanding game in the last game.
But worth noting, LeBlanc has actually been left up in this draft as well, and to my recollection, has been banned away. Pretty much first ban blue side every game until now. And Jensen's like, no, Lucian's still the one.
She did get that, smallish nerf in 716 to the minion killing capabilities, but it was one of the less significant of the mid lane nerfs.
Yep, exactly. The 7 highest presence mid laners from 715 all were nerfed in some way for 716, including this Taliyah, which we're now seeing against the Lucian.
Yeah, Taliyah got some mana nerfs, more oriented towards the late game, but we'll see how keen opts to getting in there. The Lucian Taliyah is one of my favorite matchups just to watch, because people always talk about the theoretical counter of not being able to dash over all the rock fields, but being mobile against the skill shot champion in itself
also good.
Provides you plenty of outplay potential.
Right, and to reference SKT's playoff run, Lucian for Faker versus Crown's Taliyah was seen multiple times in their quarterfinal game, and the outplay potential is absolutely there for Lucian. He doesn't necessarily need to dash to avoid the seismic shove, and then can save his dash for ganks or for following through. So a skill matchup, it's why Jensen is willing to blind Lucian, because he has so much confidence in his ability to outplay.
Just think of the multiple times this season where we have seen Taliyah's solo killed by AD carries that weren't even Lucian, weren't even mid lane AD carries. This is, Varus and these types of people that were under-leveled and still able to, dodge out of the Taliyah combo. You can dodge most of her damage.
And look at this, actually. Cloud9 not convinced Maokai is going to the top lane. They've yet to see Shrimp's jungler. Maybe it is the Maokai after all, and they add a Renekton ban to the mix. That said, the very important Gnar is still up, so I don't know why they'd be necessarily afraid unless they're, waiting to see something else come through. That said, Nunu's going to be grabbed, and so Team Dignitas going to add another attack speed buff to Altec, who's had a generally pretty good series. Someday will go back to his undefeated Maokai in this series, 2-0 on it.
And this is looking more like a Team Dignitas composition that needs to snowball more than when they had the Twitch Syndra, just needs to stay even to win these fights later, because the Taliyah Sivir damage, not the same as the Twitch Syndra damage could be in team fights, but a very strong front line for Team Dignitas.
And Cloud9 do not have diversified damage types. It's just the Lucian and the Triss. The prior game had an Elise in there, for example, so maybe that becomes a problem when the Nunu and the Maokai get a Ninja Tabby and a Frozen Heart and a Bramble Vest, and it goes up from there.
Sivir and Taliyah is actually pretty difficult to end the game against as well. Really good wave clear on both of those champions. And even with the changes and nerfs to mana cost for Taliyah later in the game, her cooldowns are still incredibly low, so able to keep up there. But that is a huge amount of frontline now for the Cloud9 duo of AD carries.
Yeah, some magic damage added to the mix as well, and also even more buffs for Altec. Two people almost dedicated to the task now, with Shrimp's Nunu and Adrian's Janna.
Yeah, and the Janna is such an enabler for Sivir. I just talked about Team Dignitas having a different team fight with the Sivir Taliyah than with the Twitch Syndra, but adding this Janna into the mix, there is the saying of the 500 CS win condition for Sivir. That gets even crazier with an Ardent Sensor Janna buffing up the Sivir as well. With critting ricochets, if you have a full item build, you can do tremendous work in the very late game, but so much of that is funneled through the Sivir's ability to farm and get gold.
We'll see if they can do it. If they can win themselves a landing phase, Sivir should match up decently into Tristana. The push and pull in the lane going to be interesting as well, but you can spell shield the explosive charge without much issue. And then the question comes down to how good are your frontliners at locking things down. And Maokai has got point-and-click tools. Contracts kind of has to burn flash for that to be the case, so maybe some more counterplay is available. Game 4 of the best of 5. Dignitas got out to that 2-0 start, but Cloud9 maybe on their way to the reverse sweep. They've got the broom out of the closet. It's in their hands. They might start moving the dust around, though. Jensen back on the Lucian that he had carried very hard with in the previous game, but magic damage is now low on the Cloud9 side. And we'll see if Sumday's undefeated Maokai will be that yet again as Game 4 is about to start.
Yeah, and I really wonder about this Galio top pick, because Galio mid was already seeming like the way you played in competitive, and another suite of nerfs did hit Galio on this 7-16 patch. He was amongst one of the pack of mid laners that got nerfed, so I'm really curious what Impact can do in that top lane to get less damage reduction on your ultimate now, as well as a longer cooldown.
Yes.
So, going to be a little tricky since they're no longer going to be able to stuff Sumday's farm and lane.
I still do really like the pick as far as buying time in the team fights. The AoE from Galio's ultimate is so big, and the respect has to be there from the Dignitas carries to, just a small amount of time during which the ultimate is coming down, and then the impending arrival of the hero can buy time for Jensen and Sneaky to take someone down.
Yeah.
Well, when the music stops.
I feel like the cowbell is 75% of the reason you pick Alistair.
Yeah, it seems to be. Oh, they're doing their own Alistair impressions. Moo! Moo! Yeah, I get you guys.
Talking about another champion that is often booed, Janna here, checking in on the Adrian runes. There's been this trend of gold generation runes, and Adrian is on that hype train. So he has gold generation quints, gold generation yellows.
Oh, man.
He's going the coin, so he is going full on cash money millionaire. Let me buy that Ardent Sensor as soon as possible.
Adrian's always been an interesting guy because he definitely innovates his own rune pages a fair bit. I remember he invented running scaling health regen seals on Soraka, for example.
This one I know he did not innovate.
No, he didn't invent it.
Yeah, the gold generation bank Janna.
No, that one's known. They should have gone Relic Shield and Altec to add more bank to the Janna. Just give him even more income. That's when you get the Ardent Sensor in 2 minutes flat. You start winning the game with a 1-item power spike. But we are into the laning phase. Nunu, this time less greedy in his start. Got a hefty leash from Someday. Altec taking a few shots to the head and pop, hits the minions as well with it.
Yep, no level 2 there.
Yep, Sivir Janna shove early. Oftentimes that's the strat for Sivir in these lanes, is just continue to keep it shoved in. Also spell shield counter trade. Ooh, early power from the Galio though, hitting level 2 first.
Yeah. A lot of damage on a someday onto this one. Now, it's going to be interesting watching Adrian. If he's really fast, you can tornado Smoothie out of his headbutt or ult him out of the combo as well. And he has some extra peel tools for Altec, so it will be fun to watch Adrian later on.
Yeah, I would say every pro Janna player should be able to do that. That's one of the few requirements for Janna players in lane.
Yep. It's even easier for like a Leona. It's super telegraphed, but yeah, Alistair certainly doable if you're on point. Smoothie has actually gone coin for the, I believe, first time now in this one. He's been going Relic Shield every time other.
One of the reasons we did see kind of, oh, there we go with the initiation.
Yeah, nice bit of damage.
One of the reasons we did see Alistars have to adapt actually in that matchup and going with the pulverized flashes was because of that very interruption. Headbutt combo so unreliable in it that a lot of them really have to cut down on reaction times and utilize summoners.
And they're playing very aggressive in this lane. You can see every time Smoothie expends a cooldown, Adrian just goes into full auto attack harass mode. The classic range versus melee dilemma. Yep. Once your kill pressure is gone, you will just get harassed.
So far they're holding on though. Smoothie healing up nicely enough and has 2 of his 3 potions still available. Contract's going to counter jungle these Krugs away. I'm killing fast with his magic damage. Not going to be stopped. So hey, how often do you see a Nunu get counter jungled? But Contract's going to be able to do that.
I'd say Krugs fairly often. Okay. One of the easiest ones to bash early on.
Yeah, the question is, do you dive now? They have no idea he's here unless that ward's silent.
Now
they have no idea he's here. Still don't know if there's much you can do about it.
Uh-oh, Jensen's going to jump. He's going to have to flash the knockup, and he will do so. But that is Summoner down in the mid lane.
Definitely high value gank there from a Nunu. Be able to get that Summoner out of Jensen so early on. Takes some of the power out of that push in the bottom lane. Smoothie in once again.
Pulverize the land shield to block some of the damage. Lands the stun though. Altec gonna be down. Very low exhaust actually stops all the charge damage. He's gonna jump right back out to stay alive. TP's gonna come in and they're gonna complete with Someday. Impact to join as well. So they've been isolated, but not a lot of place for Smoothie to go. A big taunt comes out. He's gonna go back for the play in the mid side as Contracts finds himself the first blood. There's a big pulverize and they're gonna look to kill off Someday. The flash to follow for Altec and now the Nunu joins the fight. Can they get the chase down to Impact? Shrimp is full HP. Lands is slow, but there's no follow through anymore.
Across the map, C9 pull out small advantages there. Sneaky and Altec both getting the kills, but it's the mid lane that actually tilts the advantage.
Yeah, that's what I want to see again here, because the bottom lane is one thing with that 1-for-1 trade, and it was actually pretty close with the teleports coming in. Then Altec had to back out because he was so low, but I really want to see what happened there to Keen in the mid lane because his flash is still available, and he only used the heal. Contracts, meanwhile, must have just body slam flashed on him from Fog of War to catch him by surprise.
Yeah, so we'll see the start of this and hopefully get the mid lane one after, because it was a long fight here. He gets the detonation on Altec, but he's got heal and the exhaust, and teleports come in to pull them off, but good job there by Sneaky getting enough distance so Someday couldn't just execute.
Also, very good timing there by Adrian getting the exhaust down before the rocket jump lands and the bomb explodes on Altec's head. Really reducing a lot of that. Then they have flash in here. So this bottom is a 1-for-1, but the mid lane here with the Summoner disadvantage on Jensen standing toe-to-toe with Keen, just walking right out of that one. And Shrimp was even there.
Right there.
So that, another one of those false sense of confidence. He didn't even...
Yeah, body slam flashes, and he never...
Kind
he
of
wasn't vision, but he was
window
watching.
shopping.
Yeah, Keen wasn't watching. Unlucky, but it happens even to the best of us. That's a nice kill coming through for Contracts, of course. And that was actually first blood gold, so he's pretty rich. He's got a sight stone done.
And I really want to see how well Keen can keep the shove up in this lane, which is what is needed to kind of activate as Taliyah, because the main changes to Taliyah center around the mana cost of Q, being able to shove the lane in. When Taliyah was one of the highest presence mid laners on a previous patch, it's because I feel like it was because the Banshee's Veil build caught up, which was get a bunch of magic resist against your other mage opponent. You don't need to rush Morellonomicon like other mages do, and then you can still shove. The same would be true against a physical damage matchup. You want to get Azonia's first and therefore not need the mana regen. But it's post-patch, it's high mana cost, and he wants to get armor against Lucian. I want to see how much that costs him in his wave clear here thanks to the changes.
See what happens to this one right now. Jensen up 13 minions. He got the assist on first blood as well due to the interesting 2-on-2s they've had before. Jensen flash still down though, and he's got his, so things to watch out for, but ulti's available for Jensen. Team the same. Wave in the bot lane, BFO for both these players. Small lead to Altec. despite the interesting way the fights had gone earlier in the lane. Nice shot getting it jumped down in a sneak, but he can heal that back up without too much difficulty.
Also, the CS lead on top side, you know, we've been kind of periodically checking in on Impact and Someday, and Impact has had the small lead, the pressure advantage in the top side.
Every single game. I think 4 straight he's had the pressure lead. And in 3 of the 4, it's been actually a pretty meaningful farm lead, so good on Impact for laning well, but Someday has been such a good team fighter. In most of these games, at least, especially in the Maokai.
There's been a huge amount of setup for the team. Contracts had that big performance in the last game as well, really giving them a lot of map pressure. And here, Trim is the new that they want to get to late game with, but the early game is just not what it once was. Smoothie trying to all in once again.
Zas using now the re-engage. They might go for sneaky. He's got to be careful. The flash to jump in the slow. One more on him. He's going to die for it. And the over-engage. And now Smoothie, without the ulti, he's got nowhere to go either. Just to buy the time. And now the re-engage in the mid lane. Keen forced to run. Mana's a bit low. He's got the Q though.
Jensen's on the chase. They have the extra speed. And Culling forces a flash.
He's on the wrong side of the map currently.
That's a nice goal. He's fine. Nice by Keen. Plays that pretty well to get out.
Later, nerd.
The outplay in the bottom lane, though, for a 2v2 double kill, spell shielding the Trist ult. The patience there by Altec.
You can see there's zero hesitation here from the Dignitas bottom lane. After he jumps in and they get the exhaust down, Altec's immediately like, yes, this is free. Adrian flashes in for the extra slow there. Auto obstacle goes off. Yep. They get the free chase down in the lane, resulting in the double kill here. Huge momentum now for Team Dignitas. This bottom lane absolutely crushing.
Yeah, the timing on that spell shield was insane. Like the ultimate from Triss comes out very fast. Altec being able to block that is what enabled the double kill, along with a bunch of other things.
So first turret went to Team Dignitas. You saw that in the picture-in-picture during the replay. So that's now a 1,300 gold lead for the red squad. It still feels like a little bit of disrespect. I mean, great spell shield, but when you have BF swords in, you don't all in the support. Smoothie burned all of his CGP abilities on just the Janna, and Altec able to free hit, targeted sneaky intelligently, and they had the damage for it.
And they had all summoners.
Right.
I mean, Adrian used his flash offensively even, you know, getting back into that one and turning it around.
And even though everyone was expecting the Ardent Sensor Rush, and you maybe even thought that of Adrian with the Nomad's Medallion into Fairy Charms, since they killed the turret, that lane is over. He then full upgrades into his Sightstone to get the vision control, which I think is a smart move right now, even if Ardent Sensor Spike has so much immediate power.
Yeah, and they're going to get the vision down on the map, and it might feel very good. Team Dignitas hoping they can close out the series here. Right now, they've got the gold lead 1,200. Turret's gone. They're going to keep their dual lane to the bot side because this Drake is available, and they want to keep the resources around. TP up for both top laners. Here comes the attention towards Keen because there's a Gragas coming from one side and an Alistair from the other. Here's the flash, the headbutt pulverized body slam as well, and there was no way out. It's a 3v1 in the mid lane. What's even going on anymore?
Great job by Cloud9, focusing on the area that they have some advantages in. They continue to pressure Keen. They do not want to fight around all of them, around this 3-kill Sivir, so they try and move in from their fog of war there. Really good double gank from Smoothie and Contracts to continue to keep that pressure up around the lane.
They're roaming up, though.
Double trouble again.
Yeah, didn't bring Lucian. Just went back to farm the lane.
No help is going to arrive here. They're doing their Drake.
So little damage.
Is completely on his own.
Can he outplay? 1v3, no damage dealers. Body slam to land. Chain CC is in, but again, it's a Maokai against Tank. He's going to heal up, pop the ulti. He's going to lose the knockdown Smoothie, but the ulti's on. He's going to be okay. A slow, and the Maokai walks away calmly because he's so tanky against no damage dealers.
3 tanks walk top lane to gank another tank.
With a Spectre's Cowl, the tank lives. 2 ultis pops, out they go.
All tanks live.
All tanks live.
Oh man, that is such a huge moment right there. You need to be able to power play that when Team Dignitas goes down, but as you mentioned, such low damage. Galio, Gragas, Alistair, none of their damage dealers participate in the dive.
Jensen farmed a lane. Maybe he shouldn't have, but it's a choice he made, and C9 still went for the dive. And they lost their first Galli ultimate. And one of the major nerfs for the Galli ulti is the rank 1 cooldown is much longer. So that is a substantial loss compared to the prior patch. See, that hurts him again. 500 gold, though. Not the biggest deficit, to be honest. C9 still able to get something done for themselves.
And gold distribution becomes very important in compositions like this, where you have a lot of super supportive carries and a lot of incredibly tanky characters. So the fact that Altec has all 3 kills for Team Dignitas and he is the vehicle with which Team Dignitas wants to use all of their gold is huge. So even though it's just a 600 gold lead, having 2 kills on a Gragas, who scales like a potato, versus Sivir, who scales incredibly well, gives Dignitas a bigger advantage.
I feel like potatoes scale well.
I've seen some very large potatoes.
They get thrown into mashed potatoes. They become French fries. I feel
Oh man, that's a very good
they
scale.
scale real well.
French fries is of godlike scale.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if he can become full French fry in this game. Altec gonna get fouled down. Oh, he's gonna run out of health pretty rapidly, but he's got the disengage with Janna. The Nunu throw an ice ball in as well. But look at that explosive cast. They found Adrian, who does not yet have flash, but Shrimp buys some time with absolute
Lucian's
zero.
on the way.
Early roam from Jensen coming
4v3.
in.
TP up for both top laners. Is it 3v2?
The long run.
4v3, 5v4, what's the numbers? Jensen's gonna be in range, find some culling damage. And he's not going to get much more. Spell shield a little bit late for Altec.
All right, they kept Keen in mid lane, pushing the wave in, so he's going to be able to get that into the turret, and Cloud9 unable to get much out of that.
Yeah, Jensen not able to land the Cutlass slow. The active wasn't quite in range, it seems. So wave shoved in, a couple minions lost for Jensen, but he still holds on to a 20-plus minion lead, and that is where some of the gold is in this game, is a well-scaling Lucian. Someday, early Spectre's Cowl, but now he's going towards the armor items. Knows he's against double marksman here. Getting some alone time of the turret also feels good, but again, he is, last we checked, over 1,000 gold behind Altec, and that might not change. Yep, still 1,200 apart.
Exactly, and then it's the strength of the bottom lane versus the pressure that Jensen and the rest of C9 are applying to that mid lane. The parties that have been happening in there, whether it's Contracts getting the first kill or the 3-man gank they are throwing down. They're trying to take Keen out of this as much as possible, which then turns Dig into a 1-carry team, which as much as you want to funnel out of that carry, is still fairly difficult to win with.
I'd say that's a pretty good one to put all your bets
Yeah,
in, though. If
there's
you've got
the better
one
one.
to have.
late game Sivir with
Nunu Janna.
Nunu and a Janna, I mean, you don't really get better late games than
No.
that.
We need Nunu top, Ivern jungle. That's terrible, let's never do that. Let's see what comes in for this one though. Lulu mid, add some more. Impact looking to keep the turret alive. He is gonna get pushed on though, 4 members nearby. Nunu might stop to go for Rift Herald though, and you can see Impact spells out the dive and he's gonna fall back.
Yep, looks like it is going to be a trade in the end with a little bit of a bonus on the end as Rift Herald just go down to Shrimp.
It's a trade and a +1, so they're trading the turret top for bottom, but there's no comparable thing to get for the Rift Herald currently.
Unless they continue pushing for a tier 2. They have Tristana and Lucian there.
It was really late on this push. They should realize now what's happening.
Yeah, bot tier 2 should probably fall more times than not. Herald picked up by Shrimp. Maybe he used it in the top lane push though, and now Impact in a bit of a 1v2. But yeah, I almost want to see Herald go top lane and equalize the points. We're seeing Someday now come to defend this turret, but depends how much damage they have. Sapling spots with no dive. The rest of the team went back. Somebody's going to keep this turret alive, it looks like. And top lane's going to fall to a Rift Herald. Dig going to get better at this trade.
Mid lane now is the focus for Cloud9, though. They're actually rotating over from the secondary to take down outer mid turret.
But how long does this keep going? Now that C9 is invested in this mid turret, the Rift Herald can still go bottom.
Important flash.
They call it off. They're trying to stop C9 from this base race. Time to fight.
Nature's grasp.
They're very
Find
fast.
2 roots, and here comes the dive into this one. Galio's still far away. They don't yet have Impact. He's coming in now. He's going to jump right into Shrimp. So they got to devise some time. Looking not yet for Adrian, but they're going to knock down the kill as Contract's already gone. Now the disengage. C9 forced to run away. They will, losing 1. 2 for 2, the overall turret trade. And then 1 kill for Dignitas here.
Rift Herald killed off at the turret as well. Impact had to take care of that before he came in, so it kind of delayed him a bit more. That being said, Inhibitor turret is at 50% as well for Cloud9. So not only did Dignitas also come over to mid lane and grab that extra kill, they've also heavily weakened an Inhibitor turret. Here goes another look at the initiation for the Maokai to hold him in place. That lets Keen get a very good sized shove off. And the rest of the top lane squad comes over for the flank.
And that top lane squad moves faster than you would expect. Sivir ult, Blood Boil, as well as the move speed granted by Janna. They make it before the rest of C9 can come back to the turret, and yet another kill goes over to Altec.
And it'll be eventually granted by Gianna both ways, from her passive as well as completing her support quest. I mean, she can really get people to zip around the map. Something to watch for in the future. 1,700 the gold difference right now. Taking the lead.
And Ardent Censor and Knight's Vow were both just completed. So this is a huge moment in the game as far as power specs are concerned. Infernal Drake is live as well. No flash on Altec or Adrian currently, so it is still an opportunity for C9 to make a big play.
See if they can find the opening. Where's it going to be? Ward's being cleared back and forth for now. Helen Kale not going to land. Baron, not the option. It's going to be the Infernal Drake.
It wants to force the fight.
TP coming in for impact. Somebody holding the front line. Explosive cast just getting spell shielded. He wants to go in for the steal, but that wall comes in. It's going to be a secured Infernal Drake. And Connor's forced to run away. Impact hold the front line. As the wall falls, it doesn't matter. Dignitas go out to the east. C9 going to go up into the left and look to knock down the mid lane a little bit longer. But that outer turret's gone, so it's not going to be anything lost by Team Dignitas.
Yep, they're going to send Altec back to base as well to purchase here and just rely on the Taliyah wave clear as Cloud9 are left empty-handed. Yeah, you mentioned that top tower, and it is pretty easy to knock over, but that is kind of the smallest of consolation prizes here for Cloud9.
Yeah. I would take an Infernal Drake, and it was still Impact's TP used as well, and nothing happened. It burned the Taliyah ultimate. That's usually worth it.
Stacking up pretty favorable Drakes as well with Mountain and Infernal. This turret will definitely go down to C9, and it just pushes this game into higher gold totals, right? Still only 1,000 gold separating these teams, but the amount of funneling Team Dignitas can do onto Altec makes them very strong right now. One more game, Team Dignitas will be moving on to the semifinals, and C9 would be knocked out, so the game just gets incredibly high pressure from this moment forward.
Yeah, C9 need to navigate themselves out. They have actually yet to have any comeback wins in this series. They've actually lost games with leads at 20 minutes. But Dignitas having better Baron calls. So certainly the onus is on them to make this happen. They only have 2 threats, and they're both physical damage. The Sivir with the buffs, she's got all of the kills in the team. Individual gold lead is actually still 1,600 over Sneaky, and that's before Ardent Censer and Blood Boil. So Altec massively important in this one. Yeah, Jensen can cut down the tanks, but it's going to be hard.
A little bit of armor on Shrimp and Someday is going to go a very long way in their team fights. We already are seeing a bunch on Someday. Shrimp now actually could use a little bit more. Happy with some of it though. Nice Vow.
The Keen Tracker shows that he did go Morellonomicon early. No Zonias, no not Ardent Censer, Arm Guard to be bought, just the Ninja Tabby into mana regen, or at least a mana pool.
Definitely high value there for those boots, obviously, against the double 80 carries. Again, Team Dignitas actually feel very comfortable with the state of this game. Sivir now on 2 items. If Altec is able to get to his Infinity Edge, it's incredibly difficult to kill that Sivir. Spell Shield, Janna Disengage, Nunu's even trying to feel for you. So even if you have Alstar with the, Galio and Gragas trying to dogpile in there, it still requires very good use from Cloud9 of those skill shots.
Yeah, you need, as we have a pause, Jensen or Sneaky to get damage on him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's potentially even just going to drain tank through the tanks. If he gets to late game builds, Lifesteal has the Janna Shield because he's healing off, will be healing off of so many different things.
Even with the Ardent Censer healing, should be able to survive versus the tanks. A little bit of a pause here.
Yeah, Stoneborn Pact healing is going to be hitting from Nunu as well. Very big protect the carry comp.
Looks like Jensen taking a small break from the stage. We'll be back when he's ready with this one, but I'm going to step out for a minute. So
time to go Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He's going to collect his Spirit
Bomb
Bomb right now.
Where's the hyperbolic time chambers when you need one? He's going to hope to hop in there for 7 years his time, 5 seconds and hours, and come back ready to go with glowing pink hair. You'll know what happened when you see his light up behind him.
Usually it's like blonde, goldish yellow.
Well,
sure.
For Jensen, it's pink hair. All right, this is how it is in League of Legends. All right, it's just what Lucian likes. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, this is a very interesting series and an interesting game to look at. I mean, we're talking about all the breakpoints, all the things going on. And it almost hasn't mattered who's had the better scaling because at 22 minutes, the game has always snowballed to the victor at that point on. And it's been like the one good call, the good positioning, the good hook or whatever. It's been the clutch plays, not the let's line up 5v5 that have decided the games more often than not.
Yeah, it's been a great series so far, honestly, and I hope it continues as long as we can.
That's why we're pausing it?
Yeah, that's why.
I don't want to go home today.
I don't want the games to end, Kobe. C9 versus Dignitas is too entertaining. But this game in particular, right? Talking about the pressure the teams are under, but also just the power spikes and the moments that will be able to decide the game. We have been building this Sivir up and up and up and up, but at the same time, we got a big tank line, as well as a couple carries on the other side that are going to be kind of playing the same game. It's just they're the two-headed monster instead of just the Sivir.
And what this means for our playoffs, as this split, we've been talking so much about is there going to be a new team, a new franchise in the finals? Dignitas are one of the front runners. Everybody was looking past to Immortals, and like Immortals already have their bye, and that that may be one of the new faces. But Team Dignitas have made such a strong case in the end of the split here, and already in this match. If they're able to get there too, we may even have multiple shaking it up.
I mean, it's so interesting too, because how many times do you see a team switch 60% of their roster during the split? Like, not coming into week 1, but in week 2 or 3, you sub in Shrimp, you start bringing in Big, you start bringing in Altec, you start bringing in Adrian. You're like, all right, well, it's only Someday and Keen who started game 1, day 1, and they're about ready to go into the top 4 in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they've completely changed the team. I mean, just looking at Shrimp's champion pool, he plays a slightly different champion pool than all the other players.
Yeah.
So I think we have some of them returning to stage, but we'll have to get more updates on the pause.
Well, as we allow teams time in that pause, going to send it down to the analyst desk, unless that's a misnomer. Nope, take it away, Dash.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Freak. We're going to have a few minutes to kind of break down the middle of Game 4 here, but not to worry anyone. The reason for the pause is a medical request from Cloud9. Jensen not feeling so hot, so taking a moment to step away from the stage.
Adrian taking advantage of the opportunity.
The rest of the team Dignitas all, it's time to go to the bathroom. But hopefully it won't be more than 5 minutes. That gives us just a brief amount of time to talk about the series as it's gotten to this point. But here in Game 4, again, with C9's backs to the wall, they go for that Lucian pick yet again in the mid lane, really indexing towards a strong mid lane, and even the Galio into the Maokai on the top side.
And this is out of Dignitas, the exact response I wanted to see in the previous game, where they have a bunch of tanks, they go for a scaling focus, and they play that way too. They don't just pick these champions, they also play back in some situations where we might have seen Dignitas in the last game go forward. And I think it's working out very well for them right now. You see them with a small lead. They have the objectives in their favor in the Dragon, so things are going exactly according to plan.
Yeah, and I think this composition for Dignitas has the ability to engage, disengage, and also seal off objectives with Taliyah. So I definitely like this composition from Dignitas in terms of options and like whatever way the game goes. If they're ahead or behind, they have ways in. But Cloud9, once again, do win the top half of the map with the Lucian as well as the Gragas and the Galio. So that's another thing where you're kind of banking on Dignitas to have an okay bottom side of the map, which is happening right now.
Very much so.
I want to see what Altec does in these fights, because there's so many eggs in that basket right now with the Blood Boil. He's the only target that you would really Blood Boil in these team fights. The Ardent Sensor, he's really the only person who's going to get a whole lot out of it. And he's playing Sivir, who also has an attack speed increase. So I want to watch his micro in these fights, because there's a lot of pressure on him. And I think he's a fantastic player who is able to deliver in those moments.
I think the pressure is the big thing, because you're up against an Alistar who's generally pretty good into a Sivir. Gragas can follow up well, and a Galio can follow up. So if you ever misposition once, there's going to be a big chain CC combo coming your way, and that's the kind of thing that you're saying. Whereas if he misexecutes mechanically, it could be game over for them.
But this is the thing, right? We're at a point in the game where it's relatively even in terms of gold lead, and we really are seeing the map split into two distinct sections. We, again, as you identified, Cloud9 has control of the mid and the top side. CS advantages in both. We're taking the turrets in those areas, but then the 2v2 in the bot lane for Dignitas, I mean, we saw it come 10 minutes in, the 1-2v2 that really helped propel them forward and put Altec in a position to carry on the Sivir.
If you're a Dignitas fan, you're going, thank God for the 2v2. Thank God for the pickup of Adrian and Altec, because I don't think this is a strategy that you could run with the previous roster setup, where Someday not playing all these tanks, playing some bruisers, or when he did play tanks, the other parts of the map weren't really carrying. So now they get to run these types of strategies, and now we're starting off with like a 3-0 Sivir, 4-0 Sivir in the bottom side.
One thing that's consistent is the objective control of this team as well. And just, I love what they did in their last Dragon fight, where they didn't actually fight it. They just ran away after they walled contracts off and got the secure.
Yeah.
It is a fight that you can take. You are power spiking a little bit around then, and it's something you can choose to do. But you can also back away, continue to outscale, take the Infernal buff you just got, relax for a second, and eventually you'll start setting up around Baron the same way, and just keep playing the objective game.
Yeah, you're going to have that small win, and they had both of their Sivir and their Maokai ultimates come right off of cooldown as soon as they took the Infernal Drake. But because of the nerf to the Galio ultimate cooldown, Impact didn't have his back just yet, so you actually have probably a pretty high chance of winning that team fight. But like you said, they played it safe because they're looking at that scaling.
Missed opportunity there. Real quick before we head back in, I want to get your thoughts on the Taliyah and how she's shown up in this game, because of course those nerfs did come through, and we are seeing a pretty big lead built by Jensen in the mid lane.
It's a tough matchup even before these nerfs came in, as well as the fact that Jensen's probably the more dominant player. All
right, I'm going to cut you off there because I just got worried. Well, look, You want to watch the game, right?
Yeah, get me
All
out of
right,
here.
Well, then let's get
Get me
ourselves
outta here.
back to the game. The players have returned to the stage. Let's send it over to the casters to get us back into the match.
Get him out of here.
Thank you very much. See, Dash, I saw in your prompter that said toss back to the casters, and you said, give me a second. I need more time in the limelight. It is not your time to shine, Dash. It is the player's time to shine. I have seen them say a capital R or a lowercase r in all chat. That means ready here in League of Legends speak, so very soon we'll get us back into the game. The game has unpaused, and we are here again for what could be match point. Team Dignitas up 2-1 in this series. They are building around Altec, and he is so far cashing in. We'll see if this keeps going.
Yeah, he's got that 2-item power spike with the Knight's Vow and Ardent Sensor amping him up as well. But as Kobe mentioned, the tanks of C9 are starting to build some armor as well. So there's a chance he falls off a little bit until he can get Last Whisper. Still, a very close game. If Team Dignitas wins, they will advance to the semifinals and eliminate C9 from the playoffs.
If they can do it here. Control ward knockdown. Sneaky has the ranged advantage. We'll see when someone dips for Executioner's Calling, because Maokai and Nunu will heal a lot, and as will anyone else on Janna's team. The Locket will be built up slowly and surely by Shrimp. It's the only thing that builds from double no magic mantle, so that's likely coming through.
Yeah, definitely one of the most common buys there for Nunu. You go full support in your item build.
You have a giant health pool. It's all bonus health too with Consume.
Yeah, that's Vow there. Even though 50 health was taken off, still an incredibly effective and efficient item. Cloud9 though, they don't want to let it get to this point. They're trying to push out the waves on both sides right now to be able to get some more control around this Baron area. They don't want to let Dignitas have the ability to group up where they're just going to pop Sliver Ultimate, run at them, and go for the engage.
Adrian did pop Monsoon when he saw contracts in a brush, so this Baron Force would be without the Janna ult to reset the fight, making it a little bit more dangerous.
A couple of recalls out of Cena, and now here comes the engage with Sliver ulti, Righteous Glory in the wall, but a flash gets through to safety. That is an ulti, 2 ultis down for a flash from Alistar.
Yeah, pretty high value flash on an Alistar as far as the engagement possibilities go, but Smoothie would have been dead if he did not decide to use it, and that a death at this point in the game means a huge objective, or at least a giant advantage around that objective. Every single one counts.
Yeah, and Team Dignitas has gotten so good at playing around Baron.
Forcing the play, double ults down.
You can see how that could be the deciding moment in this series. C9 trying to rush with their double marksman.
Shrimp
They get
has
the
smite.
ward in.
Shrimp has
No
smite.
Julia ult, no Sivir ult, no Janna ultimate, so C9 wouldn't mind fighting.
Ooh, wasn't quite in range for the head button. Now it's a window they can use. Altec. He has to play a little bit aggressive. He is their damage output. Keen actually not that big just yet. Just a Morellonomicon, his only damage item.
The tension is just insane in this game right now. Could be the decider. Both of them starting up the Baron, being chased off, and again, poking around here. Impact is on the flank, but there are control wards here for Team Dignitas, trying to pressure down mid as well.
Altec used the majority of his mana right now, so would not have much left for the team fight. Can get his ricochet off and auto attacks, but not much more.
He could spell shield something, but he might have to use it early then. Honey Fruit is going to replenish some of it.
Helpful.
Here comes the next play.
They want to fight.
Available. Monsoon as well. Only missing the wall from Keen. Playing for Baron control right now. Dignitas. Some days slow, but doesn't matter. They can be pushed in by C9.
You can't dance around Baron for too long because the other team will then get mid lane priority and pressure your turrets. It's only 23 minutes in. They do not kill this instantly.
A lot of service power is an area of effect, not single target damage, though supplemented, of course, by the new Janna. Mid lane's pushed in. This will be at least turret damage. We'll see if Jensen or Sneaky gets alone time, because they can still kill the turret.
Yeah, Dig has lost mid lane priority now. Sneaky is now hitting the turret. They're trying to pull him off of it by just brute forcing the Baron to
there's
the
the
wall.
wall.
Cuts off contracts.
Okay, Smoothie in the front line. Impact as well, but the tanks are kind of okay with this one. And point blank, Galley ulti ignored. And back goes Smoothie. Low on health, though. Finds the engage and knock up on Adrian. The Janna is low. Sunday staying alive just barely. Onto the backside. They don't quite get Sneaky. Adrian, a 5-hit peek and summoner heal. Impact staying alive. Gets the shield. Out they go. And mid lane still allowed for Cloud9 here.
And they still have inside track if they want it. Team Dignitas very low after that fight.
Top laner's going to teleport back in. Impact
They're
actually
gonna keep doing it.
They're going to try to help bars alone. Adrian actually has no mana anymore, really, so Altec not going to get many more buffs. Still getting defeated by Baron.
It's very low.
Can they land this fight? Can they get consumed? He's going to try.
Nunu.
They're going back and forth with the Nunu. They flash engage. They're going for the knockback, but Adrian, Altec still saving. Oh, Stinky! Stinky, that was crucial. Knocks him back. He makes it happen. Adrian 1 hit away from death to Todd. That's 3 kills. Absolute perfection from Stinky. How is he still alive? Are you kidding me, Stinky? Are you kidding me? MVP material right there for Sneaky.
in such a pivotal moment of the game, he makes the biggest of plays, and this will mean Baron for C9.
You've got to be kidding me. Everything was stacked up for this to be the failure of 4-0 Sivir. If you're going to pick a marksman to carry the fight, it was Altec. Yet it was Sneaky coming through. Absolutely clutch.
It's a high-risk, high-reward game when you're playing around Baron like this. No ult on Adrian, no ult on anyone for Dignitas. Watch Sneaky in this fight.
They're immediately going for Altec there. The double flash in, and then Sneaky!
Oh. Flashing the seismic shove right after he lands to keep him alive, and then resetting, ulting Shrimp back to get the triple.
That is one of the most insane plays that I have seen in a playoffs game in North American LCS history.
That was amazing, and now Cloud9 have bought themselves the space. Sneaky's caught back up with Altec.
Consider the pressure in this game at this moment. Cloud9, they cannot lose this game if they want to continue, and now they're knocking at the door.
They still have a chance at World through the regional qualifier, but their playoff run would be gone.
Contract started it off. He got onto Altec. They burned the spell shield. Then the flash in from Impact to taunt him up, and they get him just low enough.
Yeah, and even though he flashed away from the rest of that engage, just the attacks were there. And Adrian had run out of mana, to be honest. Like, during that fight, they chose to re-engage it.
An insanely risky call by Team Dignitas, but it was 1 pixel away from killing Sneaky, not letting him reset.
Yeah.
So close to having Altec get a ricochet crit somewhere in there and end up cleaning up C9.
We talked about slim margins in our opening games, chat. Definitely showing up once again here, but this time around, Cloud9 get the edge, and now they're reaping the rewards as you see the gold lead start to balloon. Multiple lanes of pressure. Sneaky currently in mid, but they have enough confidence here in the disengage of Jensen and Impact to be able to keep up double-pronged pressure.
This is going to be a very big Baron power play. Look at the damage even on that mid turret as Jensen is killing a turret on the other side. And unless they're willing to go all in with a Maokai initiation, Team Dignitas can't really fight them off. The best they can try and do is clear these waves.
Rapid Fire Cannon Tristana, possibly the best turret killer in all of League of Legends. Ziggs could argue, but that's about it. And we'll see if they can keep this one going as Sneaky has the Knight's Vow on him from Contract as well. A couple hundred damage dealt once again. Righteous Glory pop for Impact, wants to be in the front line. Double slows him across, turret is gone. Jensen a bit low, stays alive though. Shots on towards Someday at half HP, triple knockup. He's gonna go in for Shrimp instead, and that's actually an even lower health bar tank.
And at this point, it's the triple tank team before the AD carry has the last Whisper, so it's that almost mid-game dip that you have as an AD carry before they can get late game, and the gold is now heavily in the favor of C9, so they have the Black Beaver armor shred to at least help with the tank line of Dig.
And right now, they're not getting punted for being a double AD right now. Double No Magic Mantles built out of Locket Trip, still with a Ninja Tabby, being against 2 auto attackers. The Spectre's Cowl, of course, is exactly where Someday stopped. He's still building towards armor, but the tanks are not that tanky right now. They're getting outpaced by Jensen and Sneaky.
This series just got a lot more interesting. Dignitas were on the verge of completing their playoff spot here, moving on to the semifinals, but Cloud9 with a very clutch play have definitely bought themselves not only a lot of time, but a 5,000 plus gold lead to work with as well.
And unless the tanks miraculously all finish Randu and Zoma in the next 5 seconds, this is
maybe sell your soul, make a deal with the
you do something, because the tanks are not tanky enough to deal with double AD. The weakness is that when they itemize against you, it gets bad, but that itemization has not happened yet.
And also, Sneaky's beat everyone else to last Whisper, so even when they get there, it won't be quite as pronounced of an armor tank.
3, the wall is up, but so far they're going to be safe. The knockback Altec is going to go down! That's the kill, and suddenly there's no damage left up for Team Dignitas. C9 happy to look for the game-closing play.
They make that one look easy. Altec right there, double summoners on the front line, and C9 just take his life.
There's such a small amount of damage left.
The knockback to Impact running out of health, though. Goes into the air, gets the disengage. He's going to be okay. Shrimp running back has the charge on him. Going to stay alive, but the health bars got low. That was some solid defense out of Team Dignitas. Not quite the 4-0 we'd seen before, but at least they bide the time. 6,000 gold the separation. Let's see, you cannot count out the double buff Sivir. Sadly, though, that was a death to Altec. He's got to play that better next time.
Yeah, and Team Dignitas need to take a big, deep breath and reset their expectations for this game. They can still go to that 500 CS win condition. That's what they have to try to now, because it's no longer a matter of steamrolling the game, getting the Sivir snowballed over everyone else and winning. They lost that when Sneaky reset in the Baron fight. So they're potentially positioned a little bit too far forward. Altec cannot get caught like that, and they have to regroup so that this doesn't go to a game 5 for them. They do not want the chance of a reverse sweep in this series.
Well, we'll see if they pull it out in this one or in the next, because Team Dignitas definitely on the back foot, hoping they can find that play. We know their wave crew is very good with the Tulia and the Sivir. The defensive options are there. The armor items will stack up. Mortar Reminder done for Sneaky, yes, but you can eventually get almost unkillable, because it's not Lord Dominic. He doesn't have the 20% bonus damage against targets with more health than him. He still cut through them reasonably well. We'll just see as the items come through.
Just an Ocean Drake will be the last one for this game before we get those Elder Dragons coming through. And that is not a tremendously big prize. So maybe we'll see them keep up pressure, working with the downed inhibitor instead of even retreating back and delaying the game to that point.
I think the Ocean Drake is mostly ignorable. It'll be about the Baron that comes up in 60 seconds. C9 can play around that. They have the playmaking potential of a Flash Gragas and a Flash Alistair. In fact, all flashes are up on Team Dignitas' side. Only Impact is missing his.
Trying to work with that inhibitor pressure and keep it up. Moving towards the top side, they have one minion wave to work with. Dignitas annihilated though.
Yep, it's very easy to kill those off. And here comes the next play. Cloud9 gonna choose between sieging in earnest or simply setting up for Baron. Right now they own that entire northern jungle. And you can see they're not really eager to look at the turret damage. They're looking at the Baron bait.
Probably trigger Fog of War from Dignitas' point of view for the coming Baron here, because look how dark it is!
They're going for the engage, they knock back, and he's just gone immediately! They're looking for the kill, and yes, Someday is gone! Redemption to buy a bit of time, but Smith is still safe in the front line. The knock up, and there's the death of a Nunu, sneaking on a rampage. The tanks are dead, and it's time for C9 to close the game.
Just playing with Fog. They do not even need to wait to get onto Altec. They have that much damage on their 2 carries right now. They want the game here. Taliawal's trying to lay.
They stop the minions, they do buy some time with that, and actually Cloud9 decide instead of the Nexus, now they might look at Baron or the Drake.
There's only 20 seconds on Someday as well as Shrimp. They have the teleport
wall
on
was
Someday,
gate-saving.
so that is a huge stand. I don't know. They can still rush down the Baron very quickly.
They should be able
and Shrimp
to,
would have
yeah.
to walk there, but that does save their Nexus.
They need to kill the Blast Cone, though. There's actually a Blast Cone behind the Baron pit that no one attacked. So Nuna can get in if it's too slow.
I agree. I think it's mostly an indefensible Baron, though, with the 2 control wards in the outer limits of the jungle. No one can safely check that. Even if they held 1 or 2 men back, they'd be able to kill who comes through. Another Baron from C9.
Yeah, counting was fast enough. Baron number 2 this time, much less insane as Dignitas get their consolation prize of Ocean Drake number 2. Cloud9 don't need any.
Again, they didn't even let them come to face check the bush. Right there at the door. Contract's happy to meet them. Huge crowd control there from the front line. Nice combo from C9.
It's the kind of fights Gold Lead lets you take. You don't always get the hard engage, the Maokai front line, and then kill the Nunu next. But they had the gold, they had the items done, and they got to pick that one off right away. Well played by Cloud9.
Yeah, and one thing we were talking about earlier is how Altec was the only threat for Team Dignitas, and having that one threat is a little hard to play around. So he's not reaching the backline at all. Keen is so far behind, there's very little threat on either of the C9 carries, which is allowing Jensen and Sneaky to free hit with these fully offensive builds. Bilgewater Cutlass lining up for Blade of the Ruin King, final item on Sneaky.
That threatens, pops up the Sivir ulti, and knock up again on the front line. Someday flashes away, a nice knockback though. Do they have the damage? Howling Gale and everything else running a bit of time. The tank's not going down, but the turret sure has. Inhibitor still, or I should say now available. Jensen kites back and forth, stays healthy. Sneaky the same, level 17 for both those marksmen. And it's going to be Team Dignitas giving away the inhibitor, fighting against a Baron buff, not easy.
Yeah, meanwhile, the carries on Team Dignitas, level 15, both of them 2 levels behind. And you can really see it in the races to try and burn through tank health. Cloud9 have the advantages, take down 2 inhibitors.
10,000 gold. This is almost certainly a C9 victory. Now, we've seen 10k base defenses before. There's been in different games even, so Team Dignitas still have the attempts. We've seen good plays at Akeen. I'll take it one good fight. It looks scary.
Yeah,
He's got Lord Dominic's.
still plenty of time on this Baron buff. They are looking to brute force this down.
Here comes the wall. This could be the fight, but the turret's already gone. Will there be an engaged? Dignitas at this point might have to give away that third inhibitor. And now it's going to be them trying to farm minion waves because it only gets harder from here. They'll start flooding in the base. 2 per lane every 30 seconds. 12 supers a minute.
Ricochet does keep bouncing as long as there's a fresh minion to bounce to, though. So if there is a carry that can defend 3 waves of super minions, it would be Sivir. But this is incredibly dire. We are highly likely going to a deciding game 5.
The odds are definitely in Cloud9's favor. Baroned up, super minions on the march.
2 shots on Hadrian, 450 apiece. Turret a half HP.
Oh!
Front line, oh, they did! Sneaky just barely alive to get the healing. He's gonna be a foot for now, but the crits, the Ricochet comes across. It's all about Adrian, and it's about all seconds. Smoothie low on health, 2 kills picked up. Now Jensen trying to kite back. Exhaust is on the knock up there, and the base defense is had. It's 3 for 1 so far, and now where is Contracts, where is Impact? They're able to run away. 2v4 on the map should mean it's just defense for Dignitas.
The odds were in their favor, Kobe, but they could not close it out. Sneaky gets hit by that seismic shove. Keen has not been a threat for most of this game. In the Baron fight, Sneaky flashed it here, right under his feet. Shoved back into the Maokai.
Oh. And a late Galio ultimate, actually. He was already almost dead before it even lands, and a Shiv crit gets him.
And the small Galio nerfs on 716 lowered the damage reduction, means the Ricochet is able to finish him off. Jensen can't even get Adrian on the backside. Still 3 inhibitors down and a whole world of coming back needed, but they live to fight for at least another few waves.
Gotta say, that is one of the most flashable skills in the game.
Yeah. And he thought he could outrun it.
When we talk about the Lucian Talia matchup, the Lucian doesn't even want to dash out of it, they want to walk out of it. You need to be distracted or have some other setup CC usually for that to land.
Sneaky with the misplay. It's certainly not perfect games, but still very entertaining and enticing ones here. The inhibitors are still down, but it means a lot of gold got to flood in, XP as well. The gold a bit closer than before. See what comes in next is C9 still with the dead inhibitors looking to push.
Yeah, C9 just wants the waves to crash at the same time. Then they can even fairly safely poke, even without Baron. When you have 3 inhibitors down, each wave gets 2 super minions, so 6 super minions should crash at the same time.
Yeah, the best, even more than that, it's double stacked. The best strategy here is just to wait inside the base.
Hit the turret, he's got a red buff, Sivir ulti pop, watch for the front line. Galio gets the ulti down early, and Contracts will not take any damage at all with the stone plate. Howling Gale buys some time, Impact getting hit. And you can see the health bar down to 400. The turret staying alive, and Team Dignitas buy more time.
Cloud9 should not be forcing fights. They should just be staying inside the base, offering support to the minions. Yeah. All those super minions will take the DPS of Team Dignitas, and they just have to slowly wear down the Nexus turrets. But they keep going for these fights. These fights keep exploding, and that's what Team Dignitas want. The quick fights to buy themselves then time right now, you can see, to clear out the minion waves. Yeah. And then we're going the long haul on this one.
Sivir's about to hit 500 CS. That's a full build Sivir. And
that's the win condition.
You can see it's mostly a joke because you still have to win. But the fact is, when you hit that many items on Sivir, even 3 waves of super minions can be ricocheted away.
Yeah.
So when C9 was escorting the super minions in there, they should have been more patient, waited for all of them to land at the same time. But Altec fought C9 while also clearing minions, which is something pretty much no other marksman can do at this stage in the game.
Pretty much it's Hurricane Jinx is the only other one that gets the chance to do this unlimited AoE fun stuff. And all right, Altec in a good spot. First Elder Dragon 0 stack, though Cloud9 never got the pickups on this, so Dignitas get to enjoy their bonus regen, and they will be stuck in their base for this.
I would almost even think about delaying the pickup a little bit so that Baron spawn is a bit closer. You have a little bit more time with the super double buffs, basically. But they're just instantly going to grab it, then head over to Baron to pick that one up. There won't be a very big discrepancy.
Yeah. I think here, the fear of Team Dignitas getting it and having the 4 elementals be empowered by the Elder Dragon makes it more important to just get it off the map, because they're getting very little. The true damage burn is incredibly small from this.
And the inhibs are respawning right now, so if you delayed till here, now they're safe to leave their base. And
then it's tradable.
Right, and it gets a lot more costly. So they go for the risk-averse choice. I think your idea, Kobe, definitely could have worked. They didn't go for it, though, and now with the more paltry burn, and maybe a Ember here looking for the play. They found Kondrax on the front side. He knocks back the AD carry, and the knockup is in. Impact holding some time on the front line. He's still got the ulti available. More damage. Sneaky gets low, though. He got ricocheted onto, and Someday wants in for more. So here comes Impact making just that on the front line. Keen still waiting in the wings. Altec the same. The ricochets start going to come across. Watch out, Contract. The health bar is getting low. And C9 maybe can't win any fights anymore.
Yeah, I got to take stock of the cooldowns after something like that. Both Contracts and Impact doing everything they can to buy time for the front line and trading positions there to get Contracts out without a death timer now. You got to be very careful about face checking anywhere on the map at the moment.
More armor being stacked by Team Dignitas as well.
Yeah.
Warden's Mail being in on Shrimp. Would love to see a Frozen Heart on one of them at least.
Yeah.
And then the Warden's Mail on the other just to double up the tankiness. But it's likely, I think, we see a couple Thorn Mails coming through. Very tense around this Baron, though, especially with Someday
Contract
there to be the front face checker.
The rest of the team waiting right behind that. Looking for maybe some kind of a big play. We know Baron is up. Not a lot of vision from Team Dignitas. Looking for the knockup. A little bit of damage here. Dragon buff still on for a few more seconds, but
You can even see it there. Very ineffective, even as Someday just heals right back up with an auto.
Dragon buff has 1/4 left. That's under a minute.
A large wave does exist in the top lane right now that is going to pressure that inhibitor. So Team Dignitas now need to get a bit of a pep in their step if they are going to stop this C9 Baron.
Down to 2,000 health. They're rushing
They
the
kill
Baron.
it so fast
Impact
as well.
and Smoothie should
Shrimp
buy the
can't see
time.
it.
They've got to push them away, and this is going to get rushed down. Baron will go to Cloud9. There's no chance to stop it, but the engage going to come through. Do you battle this? They find Impact. Look at the damage out, but Galio likes the fall, but just barely slinking away, but Keen gets the kill all the same. Re-engage. They found Sneaky. They've got the Triss. He's trying to flash away the Rocket Jump. He's staying alive, but Altec kills off Smoothie. 5v3 in the fight. Jensen's got to run. Sneaky the same. He's spotted out, though. Altec's on the chase.
Nowhere to
Contract goes
go.
top lane.
Contracts wants to finish off that inhibitor. Sneaky's not going to get out of here. Oh, did he
He outplayed it! He outplayed it! He can't get away from Keen. He's trying! Adrian gets the kill, and now 2v5 on the map.
Oh my goodness, Team Dignitas with a clutch fight.
And they have over 30 seconds of a power play. 5 alive.
This
Through
is
the upper
such
15.
a game. Back and forth and back again. 3 inhibitors were down for Team Dignitas. It is still match point. If they pull it off.
If they pull it off, they win. They knock Cloud9 out in the quarterfinals. Team Dignitas will move on to play either TSM or Immortals, depending on the other quarterfinal. And they would make that 3-1 upset happen from the 5th seed, taking down number 4.
Sneaky still down another 20 seconds. The survival with the final redemption finishing him off actually delays his respawn timer in this instance.
Saber ulti pop just to disengage. They know they just don't want to get caught out. Dignitas happy with just the middle tier 2. They don't want to push for the inhib itself.
All right, another look at this team fight and how much damage they were able to pour in.
Yeah, he got flashed on by the Maokai, had to rocket jump out, couldn't DPS, and this juke was insane. Basically, they have Talia on the other side, so they say, we just need to stop him from running up, but everyone checks up. And then Sneaky walks down the side. Keen then can't finish him off, but the angle on the redemption.
Clutch.
Yep.
Adrian from downtown.
Oh, man. The rare redemption kill.
And they made it happen. And 2,000 gold, now the only difference, and it really doesn't matter much more at this point. Again, you're seeing twice the damage come out from Altec every fight. That is just Sivir's prerogative, really, in a lot of these cases.
Yeah, and it's getting
Full
late
crit now.
enough that Keen's disadvantage isn't as prevalent. He's now got 4 full items, including a death cap, so his Talia damage is very respectable now in these late game team fights, even with all the focus onto Altec.
And Altec, speaking of focus, 100% crit, sells the Shiv for a Phantom Dancer, so now every ricochet bounces for that full 2.5x damage. Tons of attack damage, no boots, but he's got that QSS upgrade into the Scimitar. See if he can do it. Triple blue trinket still in for Team Dignitas. They need to play for Fog of War later on to this one. Baron on for a few more seconds.
Frozen Heart on Shrimp as well.
That's big.
Really love that call for the reduced attack speed on both the Lucian and the Trist. The 20% reduced attack speed, or rather the 15% reduced attack speed aura from Frozen Heart isn't just like reducing a dagger. It's multiplicative to the sum of all the attack speed the AD carry has. So it's a substantial damage reduction for C9 in these fights.
They've actually sent Jensen down to get their bottom lane pushing, but topside is a huge minion wave for Team Dignitas, and Cloud9 are going to have to kind of do some housework first. They're sending Impact back here. His teleport is ready.
Yeah, and the ult is okay for now. Impact actually pretty low on items, to be honest. He's still only on 4 major completions. He's waiting for one more slot. So we're not full build everywhere. Not just yet anyway. Impact's got some room to go. The carries are mostly done, but Jensen needs to upgrade that last Whisper. Bot lane mark's been done for a while. Death Cap done for Keen. A Locket not far away for Smoothie. Double Knight's Vow done on the one side, but there's only one here for Team Dignitas. So Keen will be left without a Vow, without a Loyal Knight. Jensen tries to farm up for that Lord Dominic's.
Yeah, I actually think Adrian's going to be going for the Zeke's upgrade on that Glacial Shroud as well, just for as many possible buffs onto Altec.
Yeah, seems likely. As the minions go down, they're going to leave Someday the last hits. As there's certainly no more gold needed for Altec here. He's probably sitting on like 4K just in the bank.
Whew. This game has definitely been a tale of 280 carries with Sneaky.
Yeah.
Clutching the game, winning team fight there around Baron, but then getting caught at Nexus turrets.
Yeah.
Altec, similar situation. He gets caught out. Dignitas have to give a tremendous amount of area. Who's gonna make the big play in the final one, though?
Or who makes the big mistake?
And the plays you've made up until this point don't matter. Even if you've made a big play or a big mistake, it's all about who makes the next one.
That was close. That was almost that play. That was almost flash out from Smoothie. The wall coming out from Keen. Not just yet, though, as keep playing for the farm. Impact gonna go for Thornmail last.
2 minutes until Baron is respawned. The problem here is the exposed inhibitors for Team Dignitas. If they overextend in one spot, the window is there for C9 to take it. But with Sivir and Maokai on the other side, if C9 does split up, they leave themselves vulnerable for an initiation.
Thing is, nobody has any incredibly strong split pusher, so I think these games are almost always going to end around that Baron, because the team who gets that would also have the Baron empowered recall to even get back and defend. The problem now is going to be, will they get vision advantage to start it out? Because we have seen that be the biggest decider. And the advantage in getting so much DPS out on the front line early. Whoever's getting the health lead on the front line has been able to move through front-to-back team fighting.
It's interesting because Team Dignitas, despite being against double AD, they're actually building somewhat like normal items. Right? No one's that heavily armor stacked. You got Visage and a Stone Plate on one side, a Locket on the other for their big frontline tanks. Just waiting to see who can actually make the play. Again, as you're mentioning, vision is the big difference, and so far it has been. It's getting the right play or having the wrong person in position.
Yeah. There is still 328 armor on Shrimp and 293 onto Someday, who's just started building up towards either an Iceborne Gauntlet or a Frozen Heart of his own.
Certainly big. See what comes in as Lord Dominic's now done for Jensen. He's full build, except for selling boots. Sneaky has sold his for a Mercurial Scimitar to help him get away from twisted advances, things like this.
Keen no closer to his 6th item, though. Still just sitting on 470 gold. Does have the blue elixir, though.
Contracts is going in.
Contracts
He's got
wants
the
that
flank.
flank.
And they find it, looking for the flash, not gonna find it when yet is Impact, and Contract's gonna jump the wall, slows, flashes away, disengages with explosive cast. That's actually a rather important set of cooldowns.
And it's flash as well.
Yeah.
That's so much of Gragas' kit.
They find the engagement of Someday. Randu is popped. Here comes the Nature's Grasp, and here's the front line. Looking for the redemption of the front line. They're going to stay safe in this one. Altec going to kite away. He's still full HP.
A lot of ultimates burn, though. That's also the Alistar ult from Smoothie. Someday's Maokai ultimate as well.
Yep. As Someday's still pretty high on health. Smoothie at half and Contracts as well.
Yeah, and double Ocean Drake on Team Dignitas. If they get the 5-second reset on these fights, they trigger that and start healing up, which can be a big advantage if this is a drawn-out fight. But no mid lane priority as well if they wanted to rush. They do not want to give up Baron, though. Dig on the Baron. We've seen this fight before.
We'll see if it goes the same as before. Someday looks to the front line, looks for the kills, but they don't have Jensen, nor do they have Sneaky just yet. A big taunt on the front side, and Impact holding up quite nicely. Monster going to reset the fight, heal them back up. Someday still above 1,000.
Back on Baron.
Back on a Baron they are. Could they get the fight again? Adrian crit by Sneaky, looks a bit low on health. Smoothie not yet gonna find the fight either, does not have an ult, but he'll die in 2 auto attacks. The flash engage, the spite is gonna be picked up by Nunu. Now comes the engage to the front side. Somebody looks for Sneaky, can't find it just yet. And here's the absolute zero, look at the damage, and ult that picks up 1, they get 2, they get 3. Dignitas gonna wipe the fight, but no, it's Sneaky staying alive. Running out of health, gets the shutdown, kiting. How much can he heal? Sunday getting healed, he can't. Adrian gets the kill, it's only Impact left alive, and he's dropped 2. And Dignitas will complete the upset.
50-second death timers across the board. Baron on 4 for Dignitas. They're pushing up mid.
This has to be the game. The respawns are 45 seconds long. The inhibitors, the turrets, they're going to fall. It's bound to happen. And it was 3-1 after all, but it's for Dignitas.
Team Dignitas making their way to the semifinals.
And they're gonna do it. It's just the formality now, just the respawn timers, and they're far too long. The base is going to die first. 3-1, the new bot lane, the roster changes, Alltech and Adrian, the Baron calls, they've been so good, and it is Team Dignitas, the superior team today, take it down 3-1 into the semifinals.
What a win for Team Dignitas. You think about C9, you think about perennially a team in the semifinals or finals. You think about reverse sweeps. You could even think about Baron throws when you think about Team Dignitas, but not today. Today it was Dignitas with the stronger team play, the 610 CS Sivir in the 4th game, and the elimination of Cloud9.
An absolute slugfest here in game number 4 to decide the series. Giant plays from both sides, and Team Dignitas in the end, even after the huge Baron play, able to weather the storm. They catch Sneaky at the Nexus turrets.
Oh, and it's heartbreak. Heartbreak for Cloud9. This is a game that Cloud9 had a 10,000 gold lead and 3 dead inhibitors and a full build Tristana, and they failed to attack Nexus turrets to play it right to close the game. Their tanks got caught out, shoved into the fight. Big plays out of Keen, get a Weaver's Wall that literally defended a 3v5, where their tanks were dead, and he's like, back off minions, we'll clear the way, we'll try again later. Bought them some more time, and they did it.
And it's such a huge win for this Team Dignitas organization.
Yeah.
The 5th seed coming into the playoffs. As we mentioned, only 2 starters from game 1 of the summer split. They switched out the bot lane and the jungle. And boy, did those players show up in this series.
Absolutely did. Beautiful step out of the squad, finally getting revenge on Cloud9 for the regular season. And we will find out tomorrow exactly who they play. That's actually determined based on that CLG versus Envy matchup. But it just smiles on their faces. Adrian got 2 kills this game, 1 with Redemption.
Clutch kills,
Wow.
2-1 and 13 on Janna.
Yeah.
It was, as Kobe mentioned, the tail of the carry. Sneaky, 54,000 damage. Alltech, 63,805.
Best Sivir.
Yep. I'm pretty sure every single game had more damage out of Alltech than Sneaky. I'm not sure about game 3, but he certainly had done well throughout the series. I think he always topped his own team, at least, in damage totals.
And it wasn't
Very
for
good.
lack of trying in this last game. I mean,
No.
Sneaky didn't have the John and Nunu on his side and even reset that one insane fight at Baron.
Yeah.
The 3 games that Team Dignitas won in here were all so close, and they had to perform in very clutch moments to get them done. Such a good series.
We've seen it here proven. This is why everyone was so excited for playoffs this year, because there are so many more contenders rather than just the normal old guard. And one of the contenders now actually proving themselves and moving on. Definitely going to be exciting things ahead for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, we thought the series would deliver. It absolutely did. Team Dignitas absolutely are contenders, and it's been a long time since they've been that, since fans could be proud of Team Dignitas and what they've done in the postseason. They have gone to Worlds before. It wasn't the best run, but that was back in 2012 was the last time we saw them actually do anything, you know, getting through the national stage. And here they are, top 4, right? You win the summer split, you go on championship points. Or sorry, you win the summer split, you go. We know they're already going to be in at least the regional qualifier, even if this run stops short. And they look so strong.
And we know they were underdogs coming into this, so you have to have the belief in yourself. And they had that this series. Going at Baron time and time again, not being dissuaded by failure when they threw at Baron, to go back at the end of this game and make the play again to then have the critical team fight happen at Baron. Throwing the Nocturne pick in there. Didn't work. Shouldn't matter. Keep going back in there.
That's okay.
They played with confidence. They upset Cloud9 today, and they're in the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful stuff out of Team Dignitas. Now to hear a bit about what it was like to compete in that intense series, we're going to hand it down to the stage with Avali and an interview with the Team Dignitas support.
Thanks, guys. Great cast on the day. I am here with Adrian, the victorious support. I have to ask, that last team fight was incredible. Can you tell me what happened throughout it?
I have no idea what went on.
No idea whatsoever? You were just throwing tornadoes?
Yeah, like, I think I'm really good at Janus, so, like, it was pretty disrespectful for them to blind Alistar like that.
All right, so you just build the Ardent Sensor, shield people, and you're good to go, and that's the secret to beating Cloud9.
Yeah, basically.
Well, perfect. Well, I want to ask, this is the first time that you've taken down Cloud9 this split. What does that victory mean for you?
I think it means so much to us because we've beaten, like, almost every other team, so, like, I think people are really scared to face us in playoffs right now because, like, we beat the only team that beat us during the regular split, so everyone should be watching out for us.
Well, you showed them who's boss. I want to reflect a little bit on this series. Shrimp completely popped off in game 1 with the Jarvan. And then we had some unorthodox picks, a Nunu and a Nocturne. Can you tell me what the reasoning or kind of like decision-making was behind these picks?
Yeah, we have full trust in Shrimp, so, like, whatever he feels like is the best for the situation, we let him play it because his Nunu is, like, really good because, like, we can always hit 20-minute Barons, and, like, teams are so scared against us because either we, like, bait Baron so much or we can burn it really fast. So, like, it's really hard for teams to play against us.
Well, perfect. And it worked out for you because you guys took the victory. I want to ask, playing with Altex, you guys came in through the split. You guys were the duo bot lane that was basically filling everything up. Where did you guys find your synergy? And what makes this bot lane different from the other ones that you've participated in?
I think just me and Altex have something really special because, like, we've been playing together for so long in solo queue, like the past 3 years already. Like, I've always wanted to play with Altec on the team, but like we never had the chance to. So I think we're the best bot lane right now, but like we'll have to see in playoffs.
A dream bot lane come true. Now next week you play in the semifinals. We aren't sure who you play next, but are you excited? Or how are you going to prepare for it?
I really want to go against TSM because I want to knock TSM out of the finals.
There you go. You have the crowd support, and I wish you the best of luck. To catch up on the rest of these games, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Great to hear out of Adrian there. Dignitas doing what they couldn't do during the regular split and take down C9 in a best-of series. 3-1. At least you got the game number right. I'll give you guys that credit there. Where credit's due.
I'll take any credit I can get.
I feel like that is like an unwarranted poke because all precedents, like, no, exactly. Like, this is analysis. You're taking the things that you know from before. This is an unprecedented victory, which should be even better for Dignitas because people didn't see this coming. Like Jat said, it's an underdog victory for them.
Yeah.
They have the synergy, and like he said, teams should be scared of the form they're in right now.
Oh, well, I don't think anyone's arguing that point with you, Zyrene. I'm just giving you crap for the fact that you guessed it wrong.
I mean, predictions are for fun. It's impossible to say exactly what's going to happen, and when you get them wrong, throw some shade. I'll walk it off.
But what a way for the series to end, right? If it's going to end in a fourth game, that's the fourth game you want. The back and forth out of both teams, the plays made by both members of the squad. Sneaky here coming up, or rather, this is the final fight of the series.
Almost comes up the same exact way as the previous fight. We were talking about how Dig is not afraid to go back to Baron and keep forcing this over and over and over. And this is a situation where there's just too many cooldowns on the side of C9. And it looks like this is going to be a bit of a dangerous situation, but Keen is fine on the backside as well as Altec, and they're able to melt down this front line so much faster. It's just that Sneaky starts going off a little bit as he goes into the middle of them and starts picking up a couple kills.
Yeah, and they're able to get Jensen before the flash taunt from Impact, so Jensen can't create more distance and back up even further. And then Sneaky is caught in the middle of all of it as well. And the Sivir ultimate just enables them so much to make that rush play. And like we said during the break, they had options to disengage and engage, and they use them both in that team fight expertly.
I mean, that was team fight number 27 or something like that. Just a rough estimate on the number of team fights that we witnessed during that game, but we have to remember the adversity that Dignitas faced in that earlier in the game, they go for a similar Baron play, but Cloud9 does make the proper move. Sneaky coming up big in this one to turn it 4-0 plus the Baron for C9. This was 24 minutes into the game, not even halfway through the total game time.
I mean, you heard the cast say that they thought this was one of the biggest plays they've ever seen. I would have to agree, just for how close this was. The gusto to go flying in there, flash the Taliyah W, get the second kill, get your reset in the jump, and get out of there before Nunu can do anything else to you, as well as the Buster shot away. It was just so perfectly played by Sneaky, super close to getting turned around, and it was a play that the team needed to make because they were in the midst of getting outscaled and outplayed by Dignitas.
Yeah, and this was honestly one of those plays that's a little bittersweet in the context of the entire game because they got 2-on-2 killed bottom lane. That was a play to get them back in the game, and then later on, Sneaky kind of gave it back when they were on the doorstep to take this to a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, you see it there, right on the gold graph, right around that 25-minute mark, the massive spike in gold. They continued to basically double that amount over the next 5 to 10 minutes, but at the end of the day, if you misposition one time, and we saw that in the base from Sneaky, Dignitas is the kind of team that is comfortable taking that advantage, and then as Jat said, they will not back down from a situation where they've lost previously. They're going to keep going for that win, even if it's in the face of adversity.
I think that's the big thing is that when, like in a lot of sports, not just League of Legends, it's going to come down to who made the bigger mistakes and then who made the bigger outplays. And in this series, C9 had way bigger mistakes, even in game 1, all the way through here, even small ones. Like in one of those pushes, Impact blows his teleport to get up to the 3rd creep wave to take the 3rd inhibitor, and then he gets chunked out in a fight, and he doesn't have his teleport to rejoin it later. And there's a lot of mistakes like that being done by C9.
And then it got to the point in the game where your previous mistakes didn't really matter anymore. Like, Keen was 0-3-1, and he saved the damn game with the seismic shove onto Sneaky. So Keen kind of completely absolves himself of that early game, saves it, and then they get to reset. So it's those clutch moments that matter in these longer games.
Yeah, when you hit those 6-item breakpoints, all previous plays go out the window, and it's just about the next team fight and how the teams match up. Now, we had a lot of amazing plays today. We'd like to recognize one player, though, who shined so much. He earned himself Player of the Series, and that person was Alltech. I mean, we saw it specifically here in this 4th game on the Sivir, getting some massive damage output, but really across all of the games, felt like he was the better of the ADCs.
I think so. I mean, the Twitch game that he had was phenomenal as well. We talked about it a little bit at the start of the day where I think a lot of people would have praised this guy a lot more over the course of the season if he just had the starting position from the beginning. But I think it's all about how you end the season, and he's had a great playoffs in this first series.
Yeah, I was like, well, where was he on your All-Pro team? Like, you know, you think he's better than Sneaky a little bit?
I mean, Sneaky made his own case during this game with that one team fight, but you see why it was so close.
But Irene, talk to me then about the personnel changes for Dignitas and their journey this entire summer, because it's very clear that this Alltech and Adrian bot lane is one to be feared, but they were much more recently established here in the split than a lot of the bot lanes in playoffs.
Like, we saw them when they first came in and had this duo where they were winning in CSD at 10 and 15 constantly, and they are able now to draft losing lanes for the rest of it for team fighting later on and only rely on the bottom lane as their source of power, and then it'll be paying off later because of the fact that these guys deliver in those clutch situations. And something I want to bring up about Alltech here is this is also a big victory for him on a personal level. When I was first introduced to Alltech, it was Cloud9 Tempest 3 years ago, and he just took down Sneaky, the guy that he was on the Challenger team underneath.
And he gets and with this win, he gets to move on to semifinals here for Dignitas. That's a huge, boon in terms of the organization. But as well, let's remember that now Cloud9 knocked out of the semifinals. In terms of the old guard and the new guard, with only 3 organizations ever having won the finals here in North America, we already have Dignitas positioned into the next round to perhaps unseat one of our former champions.
And that's what I would love to see. I mean, we don't know how it's going to go, but if they end up against CSM, if CLG actually does pick up that victory tomorrow, it's going to be phenomenal.
All right, well, with their win, Team Dignitas do advance to the semifinals. Their opponent next week depends on the results of tomorrow's match between CounterLogic Gaming and Team Envy as a result of dynamic seeding. But I want to take a brief pause here and talk about that CounterLogic Gaming Team Envy matchup. It is more disparate in terms of seed, but as we've just seen, that you cannot predetermine, right, based on the seed itself.
I think that's a big thing. You also have to look at like recent history. So while C9 did have the series victories during the regular season, Dignitas was still playing great towards the end of the season.
Beat TSM, beat Immortals.
Yeah, so I mean that's great for them. If you look at Envy on this side, it is a little less positive looking. They had a lot of struggles towards the end of the season. Got destroyed by a lot of teams.
Their last bit of the split was actually them losing to 4 teams that are in playoffs. So kind of showing that they are at that 6th seed for a reason, and it is a big uphill battle for them.
All right, well, let's go ahead and pull up the championship points as well. Take a look at the standings there. With their loss today, Cloud9 cannot climb any higher, and TSM are the first team from North America to qualify for Worlds, either through championship points or by winning the split. They still have both options available to themselves. Now, good news for Cloud9 is they're still sitting pretty at 90 points, so it's very likely that they'll make an appearance in that regional gauntlet, depending on how the rest of the chips fall. But once again, it does make the case now for the second seed if TSM were to win finals is very open with the, with the points runner-up right now being knocked out.
Yeah, it can't be Cloud9 because they only have 90 points, and that is not worth 90 points to get second, and it goes by recency and summer split. So Cloud9 will be in the regional qualifier, and they would have to play through.
All right, well, that's going to do it from us here. So on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching Day 1 of playoffs, and we'll see you tomorrow.